Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Been doing great things for 6 decades. Thrilled to be doing a special remote at the MCRD Museum, joined by my colleague, Jim Grooney. He is the community liaison for MCRD, and very cool to have Captain Riley Tejcek, Officer of Recruiting and Sports, with us. How you doing, Riley?
Oh, I'm doing great. Today's a great day.
It is a great day, and it's because of the Winter Olympics?
Oh, come on. You finally said it. Not Super Bowl. Okay. Sunday's the Super Bowl. Today is opening ceremony for the 2026 Olympic Games.
Jim Grooney said, if you say Super Bowl instead of Winter Olympics, Riley's going to walk out of the interview. Now,
he knew.
First of all, he didn't say that, but I know that aspect of it. How long have you been with the Marine Corps?
I have been active duty for 7 years, but I started 10 years ago through the officer pipeline.
Oh, is that right? Okay, very good. And so you recruit officers, but you also love the sports aspect of it. Mm-hmm. Talk about the sports component. What do you do?
I've been an athlete my whole life, and I think that really traces back to my dad. He was a professional baseball player. So before I could walk, it was sports. My mom tried to push the academics, so I knew I had to be a student athlete first, but sports was all I wanted to do. I accepted my Division I softball scholarship at the age of 15, really young, to play softball at George Washington University, which is incredible. I had no aspirations of joining the Marine Corps whatsoever, but knowing that I was going to DC, I wanted to do FBI, CIA, maybe something along those lines. And it wasn't until I met a Marine recruiter when I was 18, my freshman year, it changed my life forever. And it was the biggest blessing. And hearing what he had to say about the Marine Corps, and he too was a Division I athlete, and the transition of what it meant to go from being a collegiate athlete to a tactical athlete, and being a leader and a captain, and just being able to thrive in environments that you have no idea what you're about to get yourself into. Oh man, I was hooked.
So what did your dad, what sport?
My dad was a baseball player.
What did he go to the majors?
He got up to AAA through the Seattle Mariners organization.
Very good. Okay, very, very good. And how did your team do in softball?
So I will say, again, going to pepper the Marine Corps here. I started my freshman year, and we were somewhat successful. Uh-huh. We had an okay season. The program at GW was not extremely successful when I came on, and the goal was, hey, come here, make a difference. After 2 rounds of officer candidate school, getting through and completing the platoon leadership course, I was able then my senior year to help lead us to our first conference championship my senior year.
Congratulations. What position?
I did a little bit of everything, but primarily middle infield.
Is that right? Okay, try pitching at all?
Oh, no. That's completely separate.
That's a different world. Anyone who watches the top-notch women's softball players, you won't even get the bat off of your shoulder, how fast they throw the ball. Mm-hmm. It's a great sport. And is it back in the Olympics? They took it out of the Olympics because that's the U.S. was winning gold medals all the time. Did they not, right?
No, they did. And they're still, the Olympics are changing. We saw breakdancing come in. We've seen it come in, right? Like we're seeing a lot of shifts and stuff happen. So it's every year by year, honestly, we're allowing sports that come in and out. I think for softball, it's a great thing. Obviously, the U.S. is very dominant, but around the world, softball is a great sport. And we don't really have that professional league that the baseball MLB does. We have a professional league, but it's not nearly
I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly. So Jim says that he's as good a bobsled pilot as you are. Okay.
Did he?
Yes, he did over here. Now, I made that up. And this, U.S. bobsled team.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into this? How did you go right from being a middle infielder on GW's team to I'm going to be a pilot on the bobsled team?
Yeah, this is a great question because I still don't know myself. But ultimately, it started with my college softball experience. And I had met a collegiate softball player who went to the same school, just older than me, that made the transition from softball to bobsled. And this was in 2018, and she had just won silver in Pyeongchang. And I'm sitting there and I'm hearing her speak and I'm like melting at the mouth. My heart's like pounding of her talking about crashing at 90 miles an hour and traveling the world and extreme temperatures and just competing for her country. And at that time, I hit a teammate next to me and I said, oh man, in another life, I'd be a bobsledder, but I have my goals and dreams and aspirations set on the Marine Corps, and there's nothing that's going to get in the way of that. So that seed was planted back then in 2018 of, oh, bobsled's cool. I really like this, but I'm doing something else right now. And once I got to the Marine Corps, completed the basic school, went on to be a logistics officer, and I hit this mysterious fleet. It was COVID. Yeah, the big C word, big COVID.
See, everyone thinks COVID is a bad thing.
It was the best thing for me.
I was just going to say.
It's opportunity. You have the opportunity to shrivel and shrink and take time for yourself, or you have the ability to make opportunity. And that's what I did. I took everything the Marine Corps taught me and being bold and gritty and putting yourself out there. And I quite literally picked up the phone of the coach and said, hey, you, this is me. I'm going to submit a tryout clip and video of basically a combine. Probably should have asked my chain of command first. Actually, I definitely should have asked my chain of command first as a young lieutenant. But I just had that boldness that I'm just like, I'm going to do something and I'm going to keep creating this foundation for Marines that says, hey, becoming a Marine is the most incredible thing that you will ever accomplish in your life, but don't stop there. Continue to be the best version of yourself. So I made that call. I did talk to my command. I did get approval. And I was able to just go and simply try a sport that I had never done before in my life at the age of 22, 23.
Is that the first time you were in a bobsled?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I want to begin the bobsled team, but I've never been in a bobsled. So now, were you in a single bobsled? Were you in a team bobsled? Did you do all types of bobsleds?
Yes, that's a great question. So generally, you go and you do the back position, which is called brakeman. And we see that because it's easier. You're behind the sled, you're sprinting, and then you're just ducking and hoping you survive.
Is this what, is there?
4 and 2.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But since 2022, we introduced a new discipline called monobob, which is for women only, and it's a single person. So unlike some of my other teammates, I came in right away as a driver, as a pilot. And at the time, that's because the coaches were like, hey, you're a Marine, you're a leader. We think you have what it takes to go straight to the front seat. So I quite literally was navigating and driving a bobsled for the very first time, sink or swim, in Park City, Utah, and end up swimming, sank a little bit, but figured it out.
So we're chatting with Captain Riley Tejcek. She's an officer of recruiting and sports for MCRD San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and joined by my good friend Jim Gruney, a community liaison from MCRD. So tell our audience the difference, or is there a difference between luge and bobsled?
Oh, absolutely. So anyone who does not know, luge is feet first, and you're an exposed sled. Generally, these athletes actually are starting from the age of 5, 6, 7. The homeschooled in the Olympic Training Center in and out, and they compete very young. Bobsled, on the other hand, you are normally seeing athletes start 18 to 22 and later. So we actually have some more aged athletes, and that's because we normally take Division I athletes, hello, Cool Runnings, right? We recruit them, and we bring them and we transition them into another sport.
Right. Jim, have you ever tried to be in a bobsled?
Never. Okay. And I don't think I ever could.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when's the last time you've been in a bobsled, Riley?
March.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
And
it was Olympic team trials.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And how'd you do?
I did well, just not good enough for the team, but that's okay. Yeah, so I competed from 2020 up until 2025. And my goal was to be the first female Marine in the Olympics, pursue everything. I was able to make 2 world championship teams leading up to it, and knew that competing for Team USA was going to be a daunting task. We had 2 reigning gold medalists, the gold and silver medalists, and a world champion on my team. I gave it absolutely everything I could with the Marine spirit, and ultimately fell short, which at the end of the day, I have peace with, because I gave it everything I had. But now I've stepped back and I'm pursuing my goals and dreams in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, no, that's great. Where do you practice the bobsled? I mean, if you want to be a bobsled person in Southern California, there's no places to practice, or am I wrong on that?
In a way. So we only have 2 tracks in the United States, one in Utah. So Park City, Utah, by Salt Lake, which is pretty close.
Right.
And then the other one is at our Olympic Training Center in Lake Placid, New York.
Okay.
And so those are our 2 primary locations where you'll actually be driving and navigating. However, it's a winter sport. So in the summer, you get to train from anywhere. So being in Southern California, I'm right here in the Marine Corps base at the gym, grinding it out, getting after it. You can lift and train anywhere.
Right. And I was going to ask you, was Herschel Walker also a bobsledder?
He tried.
And right, exactly. So what part of your physical prowess as a softball player, or maybe didn't have anything to do with softball, made you so good to be a pilot at a bobsled?
Yeah, for bobsled, we're looking for speed and power. And softball definitely has that power output, and it has that quickness and speed. Now, by no means was I, like a lot of my teammates, an Olympic track runner. So I still had a lot to learn. But from the power and being able to be very explosive was something that was a direct correlation to softball.
So talk a little about the similarities between, athletes and Marine officers. And of course, there was a lot of similarities.
Yeah, this is my favorite thing to talk about now, because looking back on it, I didn't realize how many similarities there was from being a collegiate athlete or an athlete of any kinds to joining the Marine Corps. And I say every single Marine is absolutely a tactical athlete. What we're asking our Marines to do is to be able to compete in a combat zone, which I will argue is way more intense than any athletic competition that I've been in. Your body is your weapon, but your body is all you have, and you have one of them. So how can you train? How can you be disciplined, eat, sleep, all of those things to be able to be the best version of yourself, to be able to put the best product out there, ultimately to survive?
Yeah, and we all know this. And of course, with an athlete, you've got a different mentality. Hard to believe 1 billion years ago I used to be one. I couldn't put a piece of paper underneath my legs now, but I did play basketball. And you just think differently. You think 15 steps ahead of the game, because it doesn't make a difference what the sport is, certainly in the one I played, in that aspect of it. And of course, you're used to failing. The best hitters in baseball, only hit the ball 3 out of 10 times. If they even, these days, probably even 2.5, the way the pitchers are. But talk about that has helped you in your officer, recruitment and working with officers, and just in general, that mentality of being an athlete.
I think, to your point, and some things that you didn't mention, is athletes also have that teamwork capability. And when you join our Marine Corps team, it's not about the me, it's about the we. And we see athletes being able to join a team with people from all different walks of life and understand that there's a common goal that we want to work towards. In addition, as an athlete, you know what it means to fail, but you also know how to persevere. And sometimes when people come into a boot camp situation or officer candidate school, I promise you'll fail. No matter how good you think you are, no matter what you say, you will fail. And being able to deal with that adversity, accept feedback, and be able to change and adapt is something that we're really looking for. So my job, and something that I love doing specifically, is going to athletic departments and letting these athletes know you can be an athlete forever like me. You can continue to compete. You get paid to work out and train with some of the best gyms that literally are within walking distance. I mean, I don't know what other athlete doesn't want that. And the ability to continue to lead and inspire and do the same things that you're doing. And I think most of the time, the military just will get a negative connotation, and sometimes as an officer be like, oh, well, I'm an athlete. I don't want to join the military. That's beneath me. But really trying to teach them and show them what the military really has to offer, what it means to be a leader of Marines, and how it's one of the easiest but most rewarding transitions because they're already having some of these skills in their back pocket and we don't have to develop them while they're going through officer candidate school.
Yeah, you brought up a good point, is with the teamwork, of course, and we all know this, that all it takes is one, clink in the armor, one loose link, and there goes a great team effort down the drain and stuff. And of course, it's a different animal, like you said, when you're on that battlefield. Mm-hmm. That's a little bit different than when you're on the gridiron or you're on the basketball court or whatever sport you like on this thing. It's life and death, mm-hmm. And you really have to sit there and use all those skill sets in that. Talk about. I was intrigued by this point you wanted to make. The different pathways to becoming an officer. Mm-hmm. There's not just one.
Yeah. And again, most people don't know because I didn't know. So you have your traditional academy route. So you think the Naval Academy. Most people don't realize the Naval Academy produces Marine officers. Yeah, we do Army, Navy, but hello, Marines, we still exist, okay? Which is why we cheer on the Navy for the Army Navy games.
Right.
But so you can go to your traditional academies. Then you have someone that was in my position. I was a collegiate athlete on scholarship. That was my job. However, as I was going through college, I was still able to train and go to officer candidate school. So the day I graduated, I was able to commission the same day and have a job. And oh, by the way, because I was maintaining good grades, I was actually getting tuition assistance and help from the Marine Corps while I was going through college. But there are some people that, they're late bloomers. They take a little bit longer to know what they want to do in life. And they maybe graduate college and go straight into the career field and they realize they want more of life. We also have a program for them where you can come and we do allow the age to fluctuate a little bit, but definitely we have a sweet spot and we're looking for those individuals to come and become Marine officers as well. So whether you're like me and as an 18-year-old, you're all in, whether you figured out through college or after, there's multiple routes that you can go to become a Marine officer. And by no means one makes better officers than the other. It's just where you're at in life and when you decide to make the best decision of your life.
Right. Talk a little bit about the sports aspect of it. I mean, what do you do now in your role that ties to the sports? Is it sports, here on base? Is it sports? There's a Marine basketball team mm-hmm. that travels or a football team or whatever. Talk about that.
Most people don't realize that the Marine Corps does have different sports programs, and we've been extremely successful. We used to have a wrestling program that produced Olympians constantly, and they're still out there and evolving, but we have running teams and rugby and basketball and softball and all of these things within the Marine Corps. But then outside of it, and that's what I want to show, is all Marines are athletes. And if you don't believe me, walk outside and look at the basketball courts because Marines are constantly playing 24/7. We are doing physical fitness where we do ultimate frisbee and soccer. I avoid soccer at all costs, but right, all these other sports. And that's what we do for fun, especially in Southern California, volleyball and outside.
Playing 12 months a year.
Yeah. And it's incredible. And Marines love that. They love the spirit of competition. And so what we're really looking for and just trying to show people is with a love for sports, that can still coexist while you're here. And it's actually going to make you better for all the reasons we talked about. And ultimately, because you have an athletic background, or maybe you didn't, maybe you're an enlisted Marine and you in high school and you never knew how to work out or lift, we will get you there. We have the programs, we have the resources, and we have the people that says, hey, no matter where you're from, regardless of your athletic background, we want to take you and transform you into an athlete, no matter what job you're going to do. So for me, it's fun because I'm competitive no matter what, even at a card game of Uno. I just want to play against the Marines and put up a good time. But ultimately, it's not just showcasing that, it's going to colleges and universities and letting these other athletes know that the Marine Corps is a place for them.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
All right, we're chatting with Captain Riley Tejcek. She's the Officer Recruiting and Sports at MCRD. I'm Drew Schlosberg at Cloudcast Media, listening to a special remote of our Spotlight on the Community show here at MCRD Museum, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years of doing great things in the community, joined by my co-host, and that is Jim Grooney, Community Liaison for MCRD. We're going to be right back after this short break. We're back. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We're chatting with Captain Riley Tejcek, Officer Recruiting and Sports for MCRD, another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community show. We're doing it remote here at MCRD Museum. Spotlight show brought to you by Mission Federal Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in our community, joined by Jim Grooney, Community Liaison for MCRD. So talk a little bit about, I'm going to talk about the sports thing just for a second, if you can indulge me, and because you used to have a boxing team. Do you still have boxing?
Oh, I might phone a friend. I think we do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why I say that. I used to, Jim might know, I used to be a sports writer a billion years ago, and I worked for a paper up in North County called the Encinitas Coast Dispatch, and they had a bunch of papers in that area. So I was going to cover a boxing match up in Oceanside between the Marine Corps and the Muhammad Ali Boxing Club. And, he would train good boxers. And the number one amateur middleweight in the world was on the Muhammad Ali, boxing. I think his last name was Carter. I could be wrong. And he's fighting a Marine. And so we're sitting there right at courtside, or ringside, I should say. Sorry. And I go on, I'm going to see how this Marine's going to last against the number one amateur middleweight. The Marine knocked him out in 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Literally 7 seconds. And I'm not sure if you've ever been up close to see a boxing match. The sound and the feel of a glove on a face in a rapid fashion, staccato, was unbelievable. And everyone was stunned. 7 seconds, done. So the only reason why I bring that up is that I wonder if they still have a boxing club.
I'm pretty confident we do. I don't want to tie my name to it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure either. I don't know but I know we have Marines who box. We also have Marines who participate in our Marine Corps martial arts program.
Wasn't Ken Norton a Marine?
He was.
You're right, exactly. He knocked down Muhammad Ali, actually, right. Or decisioned him. Actually, I'm not sure. It was here in San Diego when that happened, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I know it was. Yeah, exactly. So when the Marines, do they ever go on to play college sports or so, or play for other teams?
Yeah, so there's several Marines that I've been able to meet through this community that either was a Marine and then transitioned or has done it simultaneously. So there's one individual that was a kicker for the University of Virginia, and he was a pilot, and he was able to save a year of eligibility and was able to compete in college and do that, which is awesome. I know we also have some other athletes that still had some eligibility and are trying to navigate how can I do and support both and everything like that. And then also we want our enlisted Marines to get to college and find a way, and athletics don't have to be out of the question. I think the hard part here sometimes is we are living in a society that wants to limit themselves and what they're able to do. And let me tell you, and you already brought this up, there is no better friend and no worse enemy than a Marine, which is why you don't want to ever get in a ring with one. But the Marines, even though we get this sometimes negative jokes of we eat crowns and we're not very smart, we are adaptive, we are innovative, and if there is a will, there is a way. And so to do some of these things that aren't often doing, I will always put my money on a Marine to figure it out.
Yeah, my friend, I'm never going to share this with Jim. He was the guy that we would have voted the least likely to become a Marine when we graduated from high school, and he became a Marine, and he made it as a full-time career. And actually, I think he played football for the Marines and all that business, and even he had a tryout when he got out of the Marines at a college and whatever. He loved the experience, and he did his training here in Camp Pendleton. And I see him every once in a while because we went to the same high school class. I won't tell you how old I am, but it's a long time ago. What can we do? Well, this is a question we ask all the time, and Jim, you can add to it as well, to support, what you do in your world, or just the Marines in general, what our public can do.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm in the realm of recruiting, and I will tell you, it is not an easy task, especially with this generation. And what I would just tell you is, if you see a Marine, go up, shake their hand. Don't just thank them for their service. Ask them about their service. Ask them why they joined. Ask them a question. There's nothing more that we love than giving back to our community. I think sometimes people see us and, one, want to avoid us like the plague, or two, maybe not have that same respect that they used to 50 plus years ago. But if you see a recruiter on the street, they are grinding. They are trying to do the best that they can, often with not a whole lot of resources. So give them a handshake, give them a smile, engage in a conversation. And absolutely, if anyone is interested whatsoever in joining the Marine Corps, I highly recommend that you reach out to someone and you get that process started, because it was the best decision of my life and changed the trajectory of everything that I thought that I wanted to do.
No, that's great. That's great feedback. Jim, any final comments?
No, only that I couldn't say it better than Riley. But when it comes to what the public can do for the Marine Corps, just learn about the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. A big part of what I do is try to expose San Diego to the Marine Corps. And when you really get to interact with a Marine and know a Marine, it blows away a lot of negative myths and perceptions. And you see the quality individuals that are in the Marine Corps, and you learn some stories about what the Marine Corps did for those individuals. So, you're helping yourself, you're helping your community if you talk to some Marines and push some folks in that direction.
No, there's no question. So last question, for you, Riley, how is our bobsled team going to do in this Olympics?
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, very good.
1, 2, 3.
You heard it right here. You probably can bet on everything these days with DraftKings and all that business. So you go to your local DraftKings place and put some money on it. So I know you'll be watching the bobsled as well. Riley, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate your time on this. And Jim, as always, thank you for teeing up 5 amazing interviews here at MCRD Museum. Encourage our listeners, if you have not been to the museum, take a visit. It is impressive for 75 different reasons. You'll be supporting the museum, you'll be supporting the Marines as well. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.